Maria started attacking me in front of the group.
Okay.
And this was like the first time the girls were trying to step in.
I will continue to say it. I will continue to say this, but justice for Maria. Can they please rewind the tapes? The one thing I want to say about this episode is, can we please,
For the love of God, rewind the tapes.
because I'm I'm so frustrated. Let's get into today's recap, guys. Okay, the episode starts off with, of course, the dramatics of it's going to be a 2-on-1, baby. It's going to be a 2-on-1 this episode. They've got the dramatic music playing. Maria and Sydney on a yacht looking at each other in the distance because they don't want to look at each other because, of course, we will later find out that Sydney's been tortured this whole time. I didn't know, but according to her, she's been tortured, but we'll get into it. Anyway, we have everyone back at the house talking about the disaster that was the pool party, about how annoying it was, and that they just all hope it's over. That it took too much time out of getting to know Joey, etc., etc. And guys, I really wish we could, let's all rethink to the pool party, right? I'm rethinking, and the only thing I remember seeing in that scene was Sydney being like, I did the right thing, and then, Maria piping up being like, well, it just left everyone confused. That's the only thing I got from that pool party. So I don't understand where all this anger comes from and why people, well, not everyone in the house, but a lot of people seem to have a dislike for her. And we'll get into it. Oh my God, there's so much I want to say. There's so much I want to say, but we're going to get into it because this is a recap and we're going beat by beat. So bear with me, my friends. Bear with me. We have JP who comes in, and guess what? The international love journey will be beginning. Starts off now, and they're going to Malta. Yay! They're going to go to Malta. Woohoo! Everyone's fun. Joey's waiting for them there, right? We see Joey walking in the streets of Malta, and to me, Malta really gave me Italy vibes. I'm like, it must be very close to Italy, or it just even the music that they were playing was very Italian, and I'm like, are we in Italy or are we in Malta? I thought they were going to Italy. I was very incorrect. So last episode, I was like, yay, they're going to Italy. No, they were going to Malta, which gave me really similar vibes, though. But yeah, you have just Joey just talking platitudes like they always do. You have the girls arriving to Malta. Yay, it's amazing. Woo, we're getting to the hotel. Yay, yay, yay. All that stuff. Stuff that we just hear all the time. That's not really the juice. We want to get straight to the juice when we do these recaps, right? We have envelope time. The envelope is there. Lexi is getting her first one-on-one, which, by the way, guys, I felt the fireworks. I really like Lexi, and I hope to God she does not disappoint me, but I really, really like her. I definitely feel, like I was saying, the chemistry for sure. She meets up with Joey, and it's very cute. They just basically walk the streets. They're just having a regular old date, and he says it feels like he's on a date with his girlfriend, which is what he wanted out of the date. And honestly, I could see that. I definitely saw the vibes. They play bocce, really old school, which bocce, I didn't know what bocce was, to be completely honest. I didn't learn what bocce was until I moved to Canada. I was like, what the hell is bocce? Literally never knew it existed when I lived in New York City. Sorry. You don't play that in Manhattan or in Queens. That's not a sport you play. But I really like bocce. That's just a side note. They do some dancing. It's very, very good, and she feels very good about him. Then we have Jess back at the house with her good old friend Sydney, talking about Maria and Sydney's talking about how disappointed she is that Joey, kept her and thinks that she made up lies to stay. And I'm like, you know what, when you think back to the scene last episode, when you have Maria and Joey talking, not once did Maria ever say anything bad about Sydney. I mean, unless producers are editing this to a point where we're meant to really see one side and then all of a sudden be shocked by the other. But I am honestly dumbfounded at how much the way that they're editing this is making it seem like Maria is in the right and everyone is seeing it wrong, and they want America to root for Maria, and that's why they're presenting it in this light. Because I don't know, I feel like we're missing something. I'm like, why are people having these big issues? Why does Sydney feel this strongly about her? Or is she really delusional? Have we lost something? Is something going wrong? Because I do not understand it. Freaking Sydney goes on to say about how Maria occupies her mind. I said, girl,
Wait, what?
Girl, if someone is occupying your mind, you have an issue. The fact that this girl is in your mind more than you're focusing on your relationship with Joey, like, why? What is going on with you? Like, oh, she says she's breaking out, that she's getting pimples, that she can't sleep. That I'm like, girl, you have stronger, more crazier issues going on here. Like, this is absolutely nuts. I have never heard someone on this show saying that they're so tortured by someone that they're breaking out, that they can't eat, that they can't sleep, that they're having stomach issues. I'm like, is like Maria coming to you at night and like saying ugly things in your ear? Is she like cutting your hair in the middle of the night? Like, what is she doing?
What are you doing?
I'm burying you.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
You're waking the neighbors. No. Shut up!
Is she under your bed like that monster that wants to grab your feet? Like, I am at a loss of words. Literally a loss of words. But anyway, we move on to Lexi and Joey in a church. She says that the church really reminds her of her grandfather because he used to paint, and she's feeling really emotional. They talk to this priest. Okay. And he gives them advice about, being a happy married couple and how family is very important. And she, says in her side interview that she really wants to talk to Joey tonight about something more serious and about how she might not be able to have kids because of her condition. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember she's the one in the beginning where I was like, oh, she might, I was like, It's like, oh, this is going to come back around. And here we are. I'm pretty sure she was also the first one out of the house first one out of the limo, so big impressions there. But then we have the girls. We go back to the house. We find out that there will be a group date, and this is when we find out also that there will be a 2-on-1. Again, Sydney continues to act like she's been treated like dirt by Maria, says that she's emotionally drained. I'm like, again, I don't know how many times in this episode I'm going to say I'm so confused.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Like, I am literally and utterly confused, and I'm pretty sure you are, and I'm pretty sure most of America is, because I don't understand it, but she is just going off about how she's been verbally attacked yet again. Both ladies are upset about this situation, about that they have to go on a 2-on-1, or that they think they're going to be on a 2-on-1. They're still not sure, but obviously we all know it's going to be a 2-on-1. And all the other girls and Kelsey T, I believe, is just saying, like, girls, like, just focus on your relationship with Joey. Stop focusing on other things. And I'm like, true. True. So then we go back to our 1-on-1 with Lexi, and Lexi tells her story. And as she's starting to talk about, like, oh yeah, everything was great. I always focused on work, and then I moved to New York, and then I got really sick. I'm like, why is everyone sick on the show? First, we had Daisy's really sad story about her being sick and then losing her hearing. I'm like, why? Why do we have these sad stories? I mean, this is why these people get on TV, to be completely honest. Like, my husband absolutely hates that on these reality TV shows. It's always like these sad sob stories, and that's the only reason why they get on. And I'm like, it's probably true. If you have a story, most likely if you have a story and you're like really, really pretty or something, like a big thing about you, you've got a good chance here. But if you're someone who's just like a normal person, like, I feel like they don't want you, because you're not going to be a big personality, and then you're not going to have a really crazy story. We find out that she finds out that she had stage 5, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, endometriosis, something like that. It's basically a reproductive disorder where what is supposed to be growing around your reproductive organs actually grows in other places. And she had to have surgery to get a lot of things removed, and basically the doctor told her, and this actually got me really emotional, but basically told her that she might not be able to have kids on her own. And that was like, that's actually really sad. If someone is really wanting to have kids and she's like in her 30s, like, that's really sad to hear. That's like something that's really hard if you've always wanted to be a mom, and then a doctor tells you, like, hey, you might not be able to have kids on your own. That is devastating. I can't imagine like what she went through. Really, really, I felt for her. And then it was even sadder because she talks about how the only person who really knew this was her ex, and her ex had ultimately come to the conclusion that he couldn't be in a relationship with someone who couldn't have his children. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, oh, that's sad. Especially if you were in a relationship that, like, it's not that there was anything necessarily wrong with it, but just this person really wanted to have kids, and of their own and that person couldn't have it. Like, that is hard. I can't imagine like how terrible that breakup must have been. And oof, man, I felt it. Joey says, in his side interview about how, this was a very heavy conversation, but it is serious conversations that he needs to have with someone who he is wanting to have a life with. And I'm like, true. It is true. I'm glad that these are really important things that are being said, like, right now. Like, imagine it was like fantasy suites and she's like, yeah, by the way, I can have kids. Might be a very different thing. Kind of reminds me of like when Madison didn't tell Peter until like fantasy suites, basically like, hey, I'm a virgin and I don't want you to have sex with other women. Kind of like that. She kind of waited a long time. I know that kind of got a lot of flack from people being like, why did she wait this long to tell him? She should have told him earlier, which, granted, that's a religious thing and something that you want to tell someone when it is the right moment, and she never felt like it was the right moment, and we don't want to rush that. But I could also understand, like, she probably should have told him something this big a lot earlier on, because he probably wouldn't have gotten as attached to her, or she wouldn't have gotten as attached to him as she did, which granted doesn't matter because now we all know that she's married to some other man now, so it doesn't matter. But as an example, right? But Joey tells her that he's not scared of this and that he isn't running away and that there's other ways to have kids. And it was such a nice, beautiful conversation that they had. Lexi was saying that, she was very scared, and she always for a really long time thought that she wouldn't be able to find someone. And she feels so happy that he really took in her information and made her feel very strong for going through this, instead of making her feel like this weak person that wouldn't be able to, have a family with someone. It was really a beautiful moment, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling it. I am feeling this relationship with them. I really love Lexi. And guys, let's just remember, the people who stay out of the drama are the ones that go the farthest. So I already got like the people that are staying out of the drama here. They're gonna go far. You've got Jen, you have Kelsey A, you have Daisy, and you have Lexi. I think I said Jen, yeah. Those four right now are really, they're hometown and vibes for me. Just people who stay out of the drama, just don't really have much to say. And also you can tell have a really good connection with him. But yeah, Lexi gets the rose, which I was not surprised about. Yay, of course. Moving on, we have the group date where we find out that is where they filmed Game of Thrones, where they filmed a lot of Games of Thrones in Malta, and where they're having this group activity or date or whatever is actually Game of Thrones. Spoilers, by the way, if you have not seen Game of Thrones, please pass this for the next couple of minutes. But basically, it is the area where Ned Stark in the first season got his head cut off. And it was actually really funny because Joey says this on national TV and everybody's like, hey, spoilers. He's like, sorry. Well, spoiler alert, guys. If you didn't know, Ned Stark gets his head cut off. So I thought that was really funny. But we find out that the ladies will be sword fighting. They come into the date and it's all these three people like fighting, and it was fine. The girls have to go change to become warriors or knights. I mean, we come back and Joey's without a shirt. Oh Lord. Any place they could to be like, let's put this man without a shirt so America can fall in love with him. I mean, he's an attractive dude. He's an attractive guy. But they have this moment where they're like, okay, a knight must fight their fears and face it in the eye. And they're like, we want you to come up to Joey and just look him in the eye. And I'm like, okay. So you have the girls, they go up to him Rudy. Rudy is my husband's name, so I don't know why I said that, but that's hilarious. Joey is like, oh, well, I am a fan of eye contact. It's really important to me. So you have some of the girls like just staring at him. And then you go into Kelsey A's little section and Kelsey is looking at him and then she starts kissing him. And I'm like, that is not the challenge, friends. The challenge is not to look at Joey and then kiss him. The challenge is to just stare into each other's eyes. Y'all are kissing it because you feel uncomfortable. That is what's happening. It is very uncomfortable, by the way. I'm looking into your eyes right now. I just want you to know. I am looking right into your eyes. But it is always an interesting exercise when you make people stare each other in the eyes and really look into each other's soul and really read what's going on. And they make you do this in acting class all the time. And it's always incredibly uncomfortable. But it is what will get you where you need to be. But those girls were clearly uncomfortable, and that is why they were kissing him, and I was annoyed by it. I'm sorry, I was annoying. Then you have Autumn struggling with really feeling like she doesn't feel like she shines in the group dates, and it's hard for her to be noticed. And I was like, okay, she's clearly winning this. This is where this is going. You have these weird challenges or activities that they're doing, like grabbing sausages with their mouths. I'm like, what is happening? It's like spinning wheel, and they have to grab it with their mouth and bite it. It's really weird. Very, very weird, but Autumn is committed, and I was like, okay, she's definitely winning. And by the way, what you win if you get chosen is extra time with Joey. So she wins, and I thought it was actually pretty sad because this is supposed to be extra time with Joey, and they didn't even show her talking to Joey at all. It was kind of just like, she has extra time. They walk together, and then they're like making out, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly Autumn doesn't go very far because they're not even caring to show her story or showing like her conversations with Joey. It was just kind of pointless in my opinion, and I didn't really like the state. It was weird, and I was over it. Like I said, I thought it was so pointless to be like, you spend more time with him, and then Autumn wins, and they didn't even show anything for America to even try to root for them. It was just like a wasted moment, in my opinion. Then we have the night portion of the day. Daisy talks to Joey, and they talk about kids and families. And he says that she makes him feel very special, and she really, really likes that. He talks with Kelsey A, and the thing with Kelsey A that I've noticed, she's definitely going far, and I think in the next episode, I'm pretty sure she's getting a one-on-one. The one thing that I have noticed about Kelsey A is that they show like brief moments with her, but they don't show a lot of like actually one-on-one like talking about really important things. It kind of just feels like it's in the background, but he really likes her. I don't know. I think she's going to go far. I don't think she's winning. I think she's going to go far, but I want more from her. I really want to see more about her, and I hope that in the next episode when I think she gets a one-on-one, we get to learn more about her, because I feel like right now she's kind of like, she's there and he really likes her. Like he really, really does like her, but I, as an audience, want more from her. Then we have Kelsey T, who is nervous about feeling, or she's nervous that she feels that she might not be progressing as far with Joey. And there have been a lot of people out there who've said that Kelsey T might be a sleeper in this, as in someone who you don't hear a lot from. She's not talked about a lot. You don't really see a lot of her one-on-ones. But whenever she is with Joey, Joey always has something really strong to say about her. He's always like, man, like something feels really good. Where like I'm really drawn to her when I'm with her. Like I feel like I get lost with her. She is something. Like he feels something with her. And it's very interesting because you don't really see a lot of their conversations. Everything just seems kind of like okay. But when they're together, he really has some sort of connection with her that we're not seeing because they're not showing us a lot. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, maybe she's a sleeper. Like out of nowhere, she's going to end up being like top 4. And we're going to be like, wait, how the hell did she get here? And then you're going to see their connection. So I don't know. Let me know in a comment below if you kind of agree with me on that, if you think that Kelsey T is a sleeper. Because she might be. And I see in the next episode, there's a lot of breaking down where she feels very, very vulnerable, and she's starting to get in her head a lot. She's struggling. She's going to start to struggle for sure. Then we go back to the house. Sydney and Maria are getting the card and are getting the date card, which obviously is where they find out that they are in fact going on a one-on-one. Again, here's Sydney speaking in these crazy, crazy terms, saying that she feels tortured. I said, tortured? I mean, I don't know how much more I could say it. What? What's in the actual, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Then we have Jess and Joey talking back to the night portion. Again, I'm not really interested. I'm pretty sure Jess isn't going much farther. Maybe she's got a couple more episodes in her. Looks like there's going to be some drama with her next episode, but I'm just not interested. I really just not interested. I liked her at first until she became kind of bitchy that first night. I do not care for her, not even this little. Not even. Kelsey T gets the group date rose, which, made sense because she was the one that was feeling very doubtful about their connection. And then they had that kind of one-on-one time. I was like, yeah, she's probably going to get the rose. That's where we're going with this. And she does. And it's not that I don't like Kelsey T. I do like her. But I wish they showed us more because they show us so little that I don't feel really connected to her at all. Kind of like Kelsey A, which means maybe they are both sleepers. Then we have... we're getting into the crazy portion we are now getting into the crazy portion of this episode, which is the one-on-one. The two-on-one. You have the dramatic music, again, with Sydney talking about how she's got a game plan and saying that she's spending a day with the devil. What the actual fuck? She says, being on this boat is like feeling like I'm spending the day with the devil. What has Maria done? What has she done? I don't get it. Like, I legit don't get it. It's actually blowing my mind. It is blowing my mind, and I cannot stand it. So they're both on the boat. It's quiet. It's awkward. This whole date was so incredibly awkward, and I feel so bad for both women and for Joey that they made them do this, because it is horrible, and at the end of it, I'm pretty sure Joey still doesn't know who was right and who was wrong, and the best way to answer this question was just to ask different people in the house, or just ask the producers, like, hey, can you rewind the tapes for me? I can't take this, like, please, because it's so stupid. It really is. Oh my God. Then you have Jess and Leah back in the house, Leia, talking about how Maria is not the right one for him, and that they're scared, and that they don't think that Maria should be with him. And I'm like, again, this is the little clique. We know we have Jess, and from the last episode, we know that Leia was friends with Sydney, and last episode was when I started to get the ick from Leia, when I really liked her in that first episode. I thought she was a stand-up citizen. This episode has flipped the switch for me, and I do not like it. I do not like it even a little bit.
What the fuck happened?
Hey!
And I'm actually upset that I was even rooting for her in the first episode. I'm actually very annoyed, because this episode just changed everything that I thought about her. But we have Joey talking about the beginning of the day, like how he's like, I'm confused. He doesn't know who's lying. I'm like, obviously. You're not going to know until you watch it back, really. Joey, Sydney, and Maria are now on a small boat. They're doing like this like excursion through these caves, and Maria's like trying to be funny and trying to like have her moment, and Sydney's just awkwardly sitting there next to them, like so uncomfortable, and you can just tell she doesn't want to be there. But I liked that Maria was still trying to make it about them, even though she knew that it was an awkward situation, didn't want to be there with Sydney. I still like that she made an effort. Sydney didn't make any effort whatsoever to even try it, because she felt like she was being so tortured. Whatever. Sydney was acting awkward, and Maria was trying her best to act like herself, which I appreciated. But again, the whole time I was thinking about, this is the absolute worst date. Like, it is absolutely the worst date, and I cannot believe that they allowed this. I'm just like, Joey, why would you allow this date? You'd be like, can we not? I would prefer not to. I really, again, we go back to just more crazy talk, just absolute crazy talk. And I feel so bad, because I don't want to call somebody crazy. Like, I really don't. She's clearly feeling this way for a reason, but the reason is so unclear to us as an audience that it makes me feel that she's crazy. And I don't want to say she's crazy, because maybe she's not. But what they are showing us is that there is something wrong here that we are not seeing. But she says that Sydney starts talking again about some crazy stuff. She starts saying, like, I have stomach issues.
Like, genuinely, my body is still taking a toll from the anxiety that she has caused. I had, like, stomach issues from the intense stress of just like walking into a room and not knowing when she's going to attack me. And she says that Maria is torturing her. I'm literally like I said before, I'm like, is Maria going into your at nighttime while you're sleeping, being like, hey bitch, I just want you to know that you're a piece of shit. Like, I don't get it. Then we get this. Okay, oh my God, let me just breathe before I get here. So we have the girls officially starting the 2-on-1. Joey takes Sydney aside, and this bitch decides to tell Joey some crazy lies that I really was like, should I rewatch the last episode? Because I don't remember any of this. But she tells Joey that after the pool party, she interrupted everyone and was attacking everyone, and that the ladies were trying to step in, and she was telling them to shut up and told Leia to shut the fuck up. And I'm like, Maria started attacking me in front of the group.
Okay.
And this was like the first time the girls were trying to step in. And then she told Leia to shut the up. Many people in the house heard it. It was with a group. I heard it. Leia brought it up again. And like, I can guarantee that like repeatedly being disrespectful, it's crossed the line enough that I have to do this for myself and I have to do this for you.
I'm sorry, what? I'm like, did we miss something? Like, did we miss something? Like, did the Bachelor producers just cut this out? Because I, for the love of God, just could not, I did not understand it. I do not understand where it was coming from, what lies she was saying. Like, were they lies? Like, producers, can someone please throw me a bone? Can someone please throw us a bone? Because this is absolutely ridiculous. She talks about how she's disrespectful to her and disrespectful to everyone in the house. I have literally, all I've seen Maria do is be positive, try to be a happy-go-lucky person in the house. I have never seen her disrespect anyone. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But obviously you have Joey, who obviously now is just confused. And like I keep saying, I said, why can't we just rewind the tapes? For the love of God, let's just rewind the tapes. I think I'm going to name this episode Rewind the Tapes. Someone please rewind the tapes. He's talking about how he wanted to gain clarity from this date, but he's obviously not. And I'm like, no, you're not going to get clarity. Not even a little, because you're going to have one girl tell you one thing, and then you're going to have the other girl tell you something else. And of course, you're not going to know who's telling the truth. You're only going to be able to follow your gut on this at the end of the day, right? But then he talks to Maria, and he tells her basically what she said, and obviously Maria denies it. She's like, that's not true.
You said that you told Leia to shut the up. Is that something that you remembered happening, or that was something that didn't?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I would never say that. First of all, that's just so vulgar. It's just so like no, like
Right.
It's just such a lie.
None of it is true, and she just feels uncomfortable. She's like, I don't understand if we're gonna be able. Are you gonna be able to get past this? And he says, I don't know. And him saying that to her is gonna make her feel uncomfortable, because it's like, are you kidding me? Like, someone is literally making lies about me. Like, this is absolutely nuts. Then we go back to, he finishes talking to Maria. He's on his own, and Maria and Sydney are talking, and Maria's basically like, hey, like, why are you lying? You're saying that I told Leah to shut the fuck up, and Sydney's sitting there confident, being like, yeah, you did. And she's like, are you serious? Like, we're being filmed 24/7, right? We're being filmed, and you're saying that I said this. Why are you lying?
Right?
Maria, you have not taken ownership for
my God.
all of the things that you have done, the things you have said.
Why are you doing this to me?
Maria,
Why? Just
I am
answer
not-
why.
Maria, you are the one that have been doing it to me, to all of us in the house.
All of us. Where is everyone else?
I was like, girl, you started this. You literally, you have put the stress on yourself. Why? Because you decided to stand up for a girl who you knew for fucking 2 days and acted like she was your bestest friend in the whole wide world. Girl, why? Oh my God, I can't stand her. I just can't. Oh my God, I'm so glad that, okay, Maria and Sydney, we're moving on. Maria and Sydney are awkwardly sitting at dinner waiting for Joey. And Joey sits down and basically says, or before he gets there, he's having a side interview. He's like, you know what? Like, I just have to follow my gut and go with the person who I have most of the connection with. And at that point, I knew he was going to pick Maria, because it's obvious that he has a better connection with Maria than he has with Sydney. Like, I have never seen them talk about absolutely anything but drama. So I knew that he was going to go with Maria based plainly on what he said. But he asks each girl, but he starts off with Sydney being like, hey, do you think that there is a potential for both outside of this, after this amount of times we've spent together?
These uncomfortable situations, having these difficult conversations, is because, like, I see so much potential with me and you. And I think in a way, like, me showing up is me fighting for you.
And she's doing all of this for him because she wants to show him, like, what kind of partner she would be, and that she would fight for him in any circumstance. And I'm like, oh, God. Especially because I knew in that moment that he did not feel the same way about her. He just doesn't. He doesn't. There is no connection there, not even a little bit. So I knew that what she was saying was absolute BS, and it was just that was gonna be it. But you have then Joey ask Maria the same question, and Maria just answered this question so much better because she didn't say yes, I would fight for you, and yes, I'm gonna be with you. She called him out and said, hey, at the beginning, I did feel that, but now, based on what has been going on, I do have questions, and I myself also need more clarity.
With all the craziness that happened and a lot of me defending myself, like, I have a lot of unanswered questions. Obviously, I definitely didn't want to show up for the 2-on-1, but I did for you. I need some clarity, but I'm hoping you feel what I feel, and that's my truth.
And I told you from the beginning I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel like there was a potential for us, but I still do have questions that need to be answered. And I'm like, valid. Nowhere here was she just like, no, Joy, you're the best and I want to be with you and only you. She is also questioning like, hey, if this guy wants to be with this girl and doesn't believe me and the person who I really am, then we're not meant to be. And I liked that she questioned him. I liked that she questioned their own relationship. She gave the better answer. She made it more real. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, he's definitely going to choose Maria. She had a better answer, and he already had a better connection with her. He's very physically attracted to her. Emotionally, not sure yet because I don't think they've had that one-on-one date yet. But definitely, I felt that way. And yeah, then about a couple seconds later, he says, Sydney. And I'm like, oh, he's going to tell her he's not giving her the rose. And Sydney was like, kind of like, yay, like smiling. And he's like, yeah, I can't give you this rose. She just went cold. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. Okay, there's the door. Can we please leave? Can we leave this drama in the past now? Please, can we leave it? Of course, what happens? Sydney's just like, oh, she's shocked that Joey didn't pick her, that he hopes that he finds out that Maria's the worst, that he doesn't know her, the real her, and that she sucks. Just basically saying all this crap about Maria as she exits. Typical what we all thought. And I'm like, bye, goodbye, see you next time, bye. Then you have Joey, telling her like, he picked her because he had more of a connection with her and he wanted to follow his gut, and he does still have a feeling with her that he does really like her, etc., etc. And then she gets the rose, yay, they're all happy, they're kissing, everything's great. And then you have this opera singer who starts singing Ave Maria. Oh, that was really good, Amelia. I'm so proud of you, Mel. And I thought that was hilarious because it's so nice. And you have Maria talking about how awesome it was because you have the opera singer singing her name. Not once did she even talk about Sydney. And granted, not saying that she didn't. Who knows? She could have been like, Sydney's the worst. But the way editing is putting it is that she is not talking about Sydney, not even a little bit. So that kind of shows, the differences between them. Unless it's edited. I don't know, right? I don't know. But obviously, we always have the best moment for the 2-on-1s when you have the crew guy coming into the house and the girls are like, "Oh my God, he's coming to get a bag," and they take the bag for the person that they didn't expect, or they just whoever they didn't think. Everyone is shocked when they take Sydney's bag, and Leah and Jess are seething, are sad. They're like, "I can't believe that he didn't choose her. Oh my God!" And I'm just thinking, thank God, we can move on now.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Holy fuck, I was wrong. So then now we have the night cocktail party, and Maria's just like, you know what? I'm going to keep very quiet tonight. I'm going to let the women have their time with Joey. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers, and I'm just trying to move on. Beautifully said. All you had to do. I loved it. I loved every second of it. But then we have a nice new little stir. We have a new person who's here trying to stir the pot and cause more drama. And it's not the person I expected. But it's Leah. Leah is side-eyeing to the extreme. Side-eyeing so bad. She cannot stand the fact that Sydney was let go. Can't stand. But you have Jen and Joey. Very cute. They're joking together. They're putting their feet in the pool together to kind of reminisce on their first date. He's talking about how much he hates his toes and his feet. And it's so cute. And they're just having such a wonderful moment. No drama. Just simple. Just them. And I like that. I hope Jen continues to stay out of the drama because she will go far. I'm already calling that she is a hometown. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. Then we have Medina getting vulnerable. She talks to Joey about her parents and their divorce and how it affected her trust with people. Joey, just says that he appreciates her vulnerability. And I'm like, I mean, this is sad and it's really nice that she's opening up, but I don't feel absolutely any sort of chemistry with them. I'm like, yeah, she's just here to continue the drama and to be kind of like that anchor to what started it. She will eventually go home. And it's sad because she didn't start the drama, but she was involved in it, even though she tried to really close the door and patch things up, which granted she did. She really did. She was like, hey, Maria, I don't have a problem with you. Maria said, great, let's squash it. We're good. They moved on. But everyone else around them has now decided that they are not over it. And, yeah, we're going to get into even more drama here. Let's start it, okay? Because, my God, does it get crazy in the next, last 15 minutes of this episode. The girls are having a fun time playing with grapes. You have, you have Maria and Allison and Kelsey. They're just having fun. They're, playing with grapes, just having a good time. Nothing wrong with that. Let people have fun. It's long nights. There's lots going on. Let's distract ourselves. There is nothing wrong with that. I didn't see absolutely anything wrong with what they're doing. But then you have fucking Leia. Oh, my God. She's just like, why are people having fun? Sydney just went home. Why aren't people... Basically, she was saying, why aren't people sad and moping around because Sydney got sent home? Why is everyone all happy and acting like it's okay and being nice friends with freaking Maria?
Right now, no one cares that Sydney went home. I thought we would have been a little bit more bummed.
Yes! Nice. Okay, who's next?
They're all, being nice to Maria. If I was Sid, I would be really, really disappointed, especially with Medina.
Did you talk to Joey?
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? Are you really focusing on this? Is this important? Is your friendship with someone you've known for maybe 3 weeks this freaking important? Oh my God. Honestly, making friendships to the point where you feel like it's more important than your relationship with Joey is where you will fail on this show. It is where you will fail. You will not make it far because it is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Oh my God. She's like, Leia continues talking about how dare they. And she talks about how Medina was, she was supposed to be team, she was all team Sydney at first, and then she leaves, and then she comes in, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And basically saying that Medina's being two-faced. That's basically what she's saying. She's saying that she was playing both sides, and that she was basically being two-faced to Sydney. And she decides that she's going to confront her. I said, oh God, this is so stupid. This is the stupidest drama. Then you have Kelsey A and Joey talking. She gives them this postcard that she made, which is very cute because she always says that she liked doing postcards as a little kid when she couldn't get some. Cute. Very cute. But this whole time, I can only think, oh God, what is Leia going to do? So Leia decides she's going to bring Medina to the side, right? And she basically tells her that she views friendships at high standards. And at the end, just tells her, you're being fake. In the whole encompassing of everything, she made this really long out thing. I want to talk to you because, I felt like it was, I felt like it was kind of weird.
Honestly, a little bit frustrated and pretty confused about how, you've navigated this because last night you called Sid, one of your best friends, and you were hoping she was going to come home. But Maria walks in the door and you kind of, switch up.
That, you were all saying you were best friends with Sydney, but then Sydney gets home, and the moment Maria comes through the door, you're saying about how happy she is for her and that she looked all beautiful. And Medina straight up was just like, just because I was best friends with Sydney doesn't mean I have to hate Maria. I was like, very true.
I don't have to be mean to Maria because Sydney was my friend.
And I'm not saying that you need to be mean.
But that's what
Well, you act like I'm like purposefully doing this. I'm trying to navigate this situation the best I can. And I think like you critiquing how I'm doing it is I just want to give like clarity and you don't have to understand how I'm navigating this journey. I don't understand how you're doing or any other girls, but I'm not pulling them aside to tell them they should do it this way.
We can be higher people here. We can be better people. We could just not be involved with the drama. Oh my God. I literally can't stand when people are like, it just can't be civil. Just be civil. If you don't like the person, just don't like them. But you can still be civil. You can just be like, hey, I'm happy for you. Like, you could be happy for someone's journey even if it wasn't in your benefit. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That just makes you a better person for just being like, you know what? Like, it didn't work out for Sydney, but I'm happy for her. Like, you know, this is about Joey. It's not about you guys. It's about Joey and who he's feeling the most comfortable with, who he's building a connection with. It's not your job to look out for him and look out for his feelings. He eventually will figure out who is the right person for him, depending on how they talk to him. And the fact that these women are just taking this to the whole other extreme where they're just trying to defend their own honor and trying to defend other people that they hardly know is ridiculous. I can understand if you've known these women for years of your life and this is literally your diehard best friend, but you've known each other in the house for maybe, 3 weeks? What is this, episode 3? Episode 4? Stupid. So fucking stupid. I cannot.
That's my opinion!
But yeah, basically they just agree to disagree, and Merdina's like, I don't want to deal with this shit, basically, and walks away, and Leia's under her breath cursing a whole bunch of necessities, and she goes back to the other girls, and she's saying that Medina doesn't get it. Oh, God, like, you're supposed to be fighting for your friends. Like, I'm someone who fights for my friends. I fight. I'm like, why?
Home, my friends and I would go to war for each other. I'm like, clearly you're just not one of those people. That's okay. And I was so gentle about it. I hope she doesn't make it a thing. I just, like, want to let her know, like, I can't be fake. I don't want to be fake.
Oh, my God. Just, oh my God. And Maria does notice that Medina's kind of like in the corner to herself, and she's like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? And basically she tells her what Leia said, and Maria gets extremely sad because she just doesn't understand like why she's hated in the house. Like, what has she done? And she either is quiet and she's hated, or she's loud and she's hated. And I agree. Like, she's keeping to herself. She's hanging out with her crew, with her people, and people are just putting her down and saying shit for no damn reason. It's like, just because your friend left, like, just move on. You guys were literally complaining about the drama before, and then you're stirring it up all over again. For what reason? For what reason? I can't. And then Maria is just so upset. She starts crying and she walks out. And freaking Leia is just like, oh, she's just being a stupid crybaby. I was like, at this point, I had lost respect for her. At this point, my respect for her was long gone. And then the audacity that this woman has, the audacity that she has, she goes and tells Joey, oh my God, all the women were so surprised that you sent Sydney home.
As of like the words that were said and like how Maria's treated some of us.
Leia's upset that other girls embrace me. This, I'm out.
I was like, fuck. Well, great. Let's start this up again, because then what is he going to be like? Shit, did I make the wrong choice? Was Sydney right? And Maria's been lying to me? Like, he's probably going to think that now, and it's just going to affect their relationship even fucking more. At this point, her relationship with Joey is doomed, because he's never going to be able to trust her because all these other people are saying shit about her, which, granted, us as an audience have not seen even 1 ounce of this disrespect that she's supposedly giving people in the house. Like, I don't get it. And I think the problem is like, Maria's one of those people that you either love her or you hate her. She's a loud, brassy person who just says what's on her mind, and that's it. And there's people who cannot take that. They cannot stand people with those kind of personalities. They're insecure, but they just can't deal with that kind of personality. And because of that, they need to take that person down by dragging them and saying that they're being disrespectful, that they're being mean, that they're torturing them, that they're attacking them, when it's not the case. And I think it's more of like an insecurity thing, and it's very upsetting because so far, I have not seen Maria do anything whatsoever to make me even possibly think that anybody else could be right. And honestly, who knows? Maybe in 4 episodes, I'll come back on here and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I was saying all this shit about Sydney and she was right. I would take my words back. Everyone would take their words back. But right now, what we are being shown does not add up, people. Does not add up. But you have Maria just being in the corner, just crying to Lexi, so upset. She's just like, I'm over it. I want to go home. I'm so tired of people putting me in this light that's not true. And I felt for her. She was just like, anybody else could take my rose. Like, I don't have time for this. Honestly, I'd feel the same way. Imagine being in a house where people just hate you for no reason. Or they hate you because you're a big personality. They can't take it, and now they're dragging this poor girl. And it's affecting her whole relationship with Joey. And it's upsetting because I think she could have had something with him. But this is going to literally it's going to doom their relationship. I really think it's going to doom it. But yeah, you have Maria just in the, sitting, talking to a producer, just being like, I want to go home. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And yeah, that's the end of that episode, because tomorrow we're going to have another episode, and fuck, I'm not ready. I mean, they just showed, obviously, I'm pretty sure, I think it was Kelsey A. It looked like Kelsey A and somebody else, I can't remember right now, are getting a one-on-one. It's blanking. They're going to get a one-on-one, and then, of course, there's more drama. It looks like, so from what I can tell, let me know in a comment below if you saw what I saw, but from what I could tell, they were really trying to not show Maria based on this last episode, making you think that Maria is going to go home. But I'm pretty sure the next episode is Jess and Maria kind of going at it, because I remember in the first preview for the season, they kind of showed this very similar scene where Jess was like saying like, she's the absolute worst. And she's like they're all like sitting at a table, and she's like, Maria, you're a bitch. And she walks off, and she's just like runs off and all this stuff. And unless they really edited that, it made it seem like it was about Maria. So I feel like they just didn't show that again because they want to keep the suspense as to if Maria went home or not. But it just seems like this is the case, right? So yeah, I am very much looking forward to this next episode. Guys, let me know what you thought. In my last episode, by the way, thank you to everyone else. If you're still watching, thank you so much for watching till this end of this recap. It's a long one, so I really appreciate you, and also appreciate all of you who have joined me here from my last Bachelor episode. Thank you so much. That one really blew up out of nowhere for me, so thank you so much. And a lot of you kind of agreed with me with the whole justice for Maria, so I'm pretty sure you feel the same way this episode. But let me know what you thought about Leah's little involvement. I keep calling her Leah. I meant Leia. About Leia's little new involvement of stirring the pot. Comment down below, because, man, I lost so much respect for her. Let me know. Please comment down below on that. And also, this week is, like I said, lots going on. I'm going to be posting my next recap for that. And also, Love is Blind is coming up tomorrow, because it is Valentine's Day. When you're getting to see this, it might be a little bit off, but basically, Valentine's Day is upon us, which means that the Love is Blind season 5, I believe, premiere will be out, and I will be covering that on the channel. So if you're interested in that, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see that video, and of course any of my other recaps coming your way, because this month's gonna be busy, very, very busy. But if you guys liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, especially if I provided you some value and made you laugh. If you really liked what I had to say, click that like button, and of course, like I said, click that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I just shooketh. I don't understand. I want to hit this book against a producer and be like, show me proof. Show me proof that Maria is a horrible person. Because I don't get it.